call this regular meeting of the Board of Commissioners of Chippewa County to order. As always, we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Will Commissioner Pastula start us off, please?
Sure. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And will the clerk please take roll call attendance?
Commissioner Cooper.
Here.
Commissioner Kinsella.
Here.
Commissioner McLean. Commissioner Pastula.
Here.
Chairman Shackleton.
Here. So we do have a quorum with one absence. Additions, deletions to the agenda. Are there any, or shall we approve it as presented?
I'll motion the agenda.
Support.
Motion made and supported that the agenda be approved as presented. Is there any discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
If you're opposed, vote nay. Motion carries. We move to item 5, correspondence received in the clerk's office. That's on page 1.
I would move we acknowledge the correspondence received in the clerk's office and send it to the appropriate committees if necessary. Support.
Motion made and supported that the correspondence be acknowledged and forwarded as appropriate. Is there discussion on the motion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries. Item 6 is approval of the county board minutes. We have a regular board meeting of July 14th on page 2, and we need to either amend or approve them, or both.
And I'll support it.
Motion made and supported to, where are we? Approve the county board minutes of July 14th. Is there discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries. Public comments is next on our agenda. If there's any member of the public who wishes to address the board, this is your opportunity. Once again, public comments. Anybody like to address the board? Now's the time. Last chance for public comment. I declare public comment period to be closed. We move to old business, appointments to North Care Substance Use Disorder Policy Board, page 12. Administrator German, you want to bring us up to speed on this?
The North Care, the board referred back from last month. They wanted to advertise for it instead of making it a board appointment. And it's for substance use disorder. It's a conglomeration of what HBH is actually under North Care, and it's a way for us to get dollars. I think Commissioner Kinsella would verify that.
Yeah, it's a subcommittee of the North Care Board, which is a conglomeration of all the health boards in the mental health boards in the UP. And it looks like, I guess we only had, Jim Moore was the only applicant by the looks of things.
That's correct.
If that's the case, I guess I'll make the motion to appoint Jim Moore to that.
I'll support. Didn't we do something? We put them on there temporary last month.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
just to
we did.
get by for a month and see what we got for applicants, and his was the only one. So.
Okay, motion made and supported to appoint Jim Moore to this position. Is there any further comments or
We
discussion?
went through the process. We
Yeah.
followed the process, we asked for applications, and we
Yep.
didn't get any, correct?
Yep.
Correct, it was
As
advertised.
long as we're going through, I mean, we have, again, we have a process and procedure, and we should follow that, and we did.
Any further discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries. Administrator's report, page 15, Administrator German.
You'll see the various reports: Department of Veterans Affairs, War Memorial Hospital, the Sheriff's Department, Public Defender, Animal Control, and just two more notes. Supposedly, our closing on the annex with the commission passing the resolution today, should take place in another day or two. And as of probably later today, when the chair signs, the jail contract has now been finished.
Okay. Then we'll move on to standing committee reports, starting with 10A, Personnel, Equalization, Health and Social Services. That's Commissioner Kinsella.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. A regular meeting of the Chippewa County Board of Commissioners Personnel Equalization Health and Social Services Committee was held on Tuesday, July 29th, 2014 at the county courthouse in Sioux. I called the meeting to order at 11 a.m. with a quorum present. The members present were Commissioner Don McLean, Commissioner Ted Pastula, and Commissioner George Kinsella. No members were absent. Others present at the meeting were Jim German, County Administrator, Kelly Church, Assistant Administrator, and Sharon Kennedy. There were no additions or deletions to the agenda other than we moved to add an equalization request. After discussion, it was moved by Commissioner McLean, supported by Commissioner Pastula, to add a personal request to the agenda from Sharon Kennedy. On a voice vote, the motion carried. We don't need a motion on that. It just was a change in the agenda. Public comments, there were none. The agenda items included the equalization request from Director Sharon. She addressed the committee regarding the need to authorize the equalization staff for potential overtime hours that will be needed to deal with the staff changes that have taken place, including being understaffed due to a retirement and employees being pulled away from their normal jobs. The overtime hours would not exceed the current budget. After discussion, it was moved by Commissioner McLean, supported by Commissioner Pastula, to approve the equalization staff overtime hours if necessary to complete their studies and the tax rolls due to the staff changes and not exceed the current budget. On a voice vote, that motion carried, and I would so move.
Support.
Motion made by Commissioner Kinsella, supported by Commissioner Pastula. Is there discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
Moving on to building department position, the committee was informed of a part-time building inspector to be employed as a backup building inspector. Mr. Frank Sims will be hired at $12 per hour plus mileage. Building Inspector Jay Predmore will assign various permits so that Mr. Sims stays familiar with the county's process and could be utilized to fill in for Mr. Predmore if necessary. The county will offer to pay for classes and licensing for Mr. Sims to keep him certified. Budgeting for fiscal year 2015 will also include monies to purchase a copy of the residential codes. Deputy Administrator will be working with the IT department to try to set up an old laptop with email only for shared files with between Mr. Sims, I assume that is, and the county. After discussion, it was moved by Commissioner McLean, supported by Commissioner Pastula, to authorize the hiring of Frank Sims at $12 per hour plus mileage as a part-time building inspector and to budget accordingly for the licensing and classes. On a voice vote, that motion carried and also moved.
Support.
Motion made by Commissioner Kinsella, supported by Commissioner Pastula. Is there further discussion on that? Commissioner Cooper?
I think Jake did a hell of a job for the last couple of years, doing it solo, but now with the building, the buildings are starting more and more, the construction is starting to go more and more, so I think it's important that we have not only a backup for him, but a potential, someone in the bullpen there for when we need to pick up either a full-time or a full-time part, a permanent part-time position in that slot, so I think it's good, a good move.
Okay, anyone else? All in favor of the motion, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
Temporary part-time for sheriff. Under Sheriff Mike Bittner addressed the committee regarding the need for a temporary part-time hire to help in the front office due to the accident and hospitalization of their lead secretary. Discussion included cross-training in the office and the difference in pay that will be received, as is the practice of the county. The committee also waived Policy 215, temporary employee reimbursement, and opted to approve the hourly rate of $10 to $12 an hour at 20 hours a week. It is currently unknown how long this position will be necessary for. It was moved by Commissioner McLean, supported by Commissioner Pastula to authorize the part-time hire of a temporary employment for 20 hours a week at $10 to $12 per hour in the Sheriff's Department front office due to the staff accident and recovery. On a voice vote, that motion carried. I'm gonna move this so we can have discussion.
And I'll support it.
Motion made and supported. Is there discussion? Commissioner Kinsella?
Yeah, we did discuss as a committee, the situation, and it was, it was understood that the Missy would move up to fill in behind Peggy, and it's unknown when Peggy will be back. Peggy is a MCOL certified badge toting, gun carrying deputy in the front office there, and it's moving Missy into that position. She was going to pick up most of her tasks. So the part-timer here in the motion is to fill in behind Missy. And so we talked about the fact that we have past precedent set of giving the person filling in behind the person the wage of that person while they're gone. And so just to add to the discussion there, we were talking about giving Missy a $5 an hour raise, which equates to $800 or so a month. If Peggy's gone a month, that's and if she's gone a couple weeks, and I guess we really don't know how long Peggy's going to be off. I mean, we're hoping she'll come back. But the issue that I think needs to be discussed is, should the employee filling in behind the employee get some kind of raise? And I do believe she should get some kind of raise for doing her job plus, parts of her job plus all of somebody else's. Is that an $800 a month raise? Is it a $5 an hour raise temporarily? And then what would we do down the road if she came back or didn't come back? Even worse. So, what do you think?
Anyone else?
I guess I hear what you're saying, but the motion in front of us is just to authorize the part-time
It
person
is.
right now.
That's
The other
right.
part of it is an administrative move, which is, they do it all through our system.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking while you were talking. I thought, really, once again, I think it's for the department head and his administrative team to run his department. And, and we correctly oversee it, but I think if they think this is gonna work for them, I'm not gonna second guess them and say, no, do it this way. So anyway, that's my thought. But
Well, anyway, that was discussion that we had, and I thought it was legitimate discussion. And, but basically, yeah, the motion's what it is,
Okay.
and that's to hire behind Missy with a part-timer, so.
Any other discussion, or all in favor of the motion before us, vote aye. Opposed, vote nay.
I'm gonna vote nay.
I'll
One
vote
nay.
aye then. Obviously I voted aye, but I oftentimes don't articulate.
You're an aye, correct?
Aye.
Okay, and we have
That's
one nay, is Commissioner Kinsella. But the motion does pass.
Okay, sheriff personnel changes, committee was informed of the resignation of full-time corrections officer Amber Wagner and her full-time replacement corrections officer Jeremy Daniels effective July 6th. It was moved by Commissioner McLean, supported by Commissioner Pastula to accept the resignation of Amber Wagner and to authorize the recommended full-time hire effective July 6th of Corrections Officer Jeremy Daniels. On a voice vote, the motion carried, and I'll move that.
Support.
Motion made by Commissioner Kinsella, supported by Commissioner Pastula. Is there discussion, Commissioner Cooper?
Well, I just have a question, maybe Kelly can enlighten on this one. When a part-time employee gets moved up to full-time, when's their employment date? Right now, we don't pay retirees insurance for new employees.
Ah.
But if you had a part-timer that was in before that.
In other words, do they fall under our new policies for
Exactly.
full-time
Are they new
hires?
hires, because they're new hire into
Yeah. They're considered a new full-time hire, right?
New full-time,
New
Yeah.
full-time.
yeah.
So is this, would that be this individual? Would he fall into that category?
He was part-time before, but his status date for retirement and healthcare, anything like that, is the date he went full-time, and that's how they're covered under the contract as well.
So he's a full-time employee now, so he's not, his,
Full-time under the hybrid program with no retiree healthcare.
okay.
Any further discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
It was moved by Commissioner McLean, supported by Commissioner Pastula to adjourn the meeting. On a voice vote, the motion carried, and I move for the acceptance of these minutes.
Support.
Motion made by Commissioner Kinsella, supported by Commissioner Pastula, that the minutes of Personnel, Equalization, Health, or wait a minute, yep, Health and Social Services Committee, the date being July 29th, 2014 of that meeting, and that those minutes will be accepted. Is there a discussion on the motion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries. Building Grounds and Jail, Legislative, Natural Resources, and Information Technology. Commissioner McLean is the chair. Who's taking that one today?
You wanna do it, Ted?
Yeah, he asked me to do it.
Commissioner
I'll do it,
Pastula.
George. You did
Nope.
a good job. huh?
You're on it, you're on it.
I'll take it.
Take turns. Your turn.
A regular meeting of the Chippewa County Board of Commissioners, Building Grounds, Jail, Legislative, Natural Resources, Information, and whatever, on July 29th, 14, Chippewa County Courthouse. Chairman McLean called the meeting to order at 10:30 with a quorum present. Members present, Don McLean, George Kinsella, and myself. No members absent. Others present, Jim German, Kelly Church, Paul Lark, Brian Amel, is it Amel?
Amel.
Anyway, he was there. No additions or deletions, no public comments. The agenda items were radiator replacement. Paul Lark explained to the committee about 90% of the work on the radiators had been completed, as 88 radiators have been completed. It was estimated to finish the project, including the county building basement where hatches may have to be put in, and the ceiling would cost an additional $5,000. Additional discussion included that our maintenance staff would be responsible for the access panels and their air vent replacement. To date, the project cost $9,903.30 with a $10,000 limit originally. So the discussion was to go get a little more money. It was moved by Commissioner Kinsella, supported by Commissioner Pastula, to authorize the radiator project for additional $5,000 to complete the project. On a voice vote, the motion carried, and I would so move.
Support.
Motion made by Commissioner Pastula, supported by Commissioner Kinsella. Is there discussion? Commissioner Cooper.
90% complete, and it's $9,900. That means 100% completion would be $11,000. Doing the math that he's articulated. But yet he wants another $5,000 when it should be.
He's in the tough places right now where they gotta chip
Yeah.
out cement, and that's where our staff's gonna come in to help him do that and finish it.
Well, if our staff is doing it, then, again, why are we increasing it? But, you know, I mean, his numbers, 90% equals 9,900, so it would be 11,000 to complete the project. But yet he wants,
Well, I think he's talking 90% in the number of radiators that have been completed and refurbished, not necessarily the total
Total number.
effort and work that it's gonna take to do the last 10%. But, I mean, the committee looked at it and thinks the 5,000's justified for the work that needs to be performed by the contractor.
Yeah, like I say, you know, the tough ones are the ones that have to be done now. And I think it was money well spent, because I don't know if Jim saved those or Kelly, some of the
Yep.
fittings that he took out of there, some of them were ready to blow.
Yeah.
You know, if one of those went, it would've cost us $20,000.
Because of
And-
water damage.
Yeah.
And there's also the timeliness of having the system off this time of year
Now,
rather than the winter.
Rather than
So,
winter, yeah. Okay, so we have a motion before us. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
If you're opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
Courthouse rehabilitation. Administrator German noted that the recent decision by the county, by the commission to put funds from the sales of the annex toward courthouse rehabilitation. He noted that an email would be sent to the commissioners with suggestions, and have commissioners add their ideas and prioritize them. Deputy Church would then give a prioritized ranking to the finance committee, Deputy Church send out an email to the commission, have the board prioritize the preferences of the updates and restoration of the courthouse. And the list would return to Deputy Church, who would collect them and present them to finance on a voice vote. The motion carried, and I would so move.
Support.
And it was brought to finance the other day, and I don't know if we'll do anything, it was just
Yeah.
an early list that was there.
Okay. We'll go ahead and approve it. I know it's already been done, but, yeah, there's a motion before us. Any further discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries. And Kelly, would you resend that, please? At least to me. I hadn't had a. Okay.
Was moved by Commissioner Pastula, supported by Kinsella to adjourn the meeting adjourned, and I would move for the approval of these minutes.
Support.
Motion made by Commissioner Pastula, supported by Commissioner Kinsella, that the minutes be approved of the Building Grounds and Jail Legislative Natural Resources and Info Technology Committee. The meeting date was July 29th, 2014. Is there discussion on the motion before us? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries. Finance, claims, and accounts. Commissioner Cooper.
I wasn't there, Scott, you chaired it up, but I will read the minutes, right?
Pardon? Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Regular meeting of the Chippewa County Board of Commissioners Finance Claims and Accounts was held Thursday, August 7th, at the courthouse. Chairman Shackleton called the meeting to order at 4 p.m. with the quorum present. Ted was there, George, Don McLean, and Scott. I was missing. Paul Stanaway, Margie Hank, Brian Ann Bartlett, Jim German, and Kelly Church were also in attendance. They approved the agenda. They added one item and then approved the agenda. There's no public comment, correspondence and information. The committee received the treasurer's investment report, the monthly travel report, the July Visa billing statement, the MERS healthcare retirement vehicle quarterly statement, and a copy of the Chippewa County retiree healthcare plan as of 12/31/2013. The committee was updated on two maintenance items that needed to be addressed, 4 electronic locks that needed to be replaced, and 3 security windows that needed to be replaced as they are cracked. Lieutenant Stanaway received a quote from Cornerstone Service and Supply. The replacement of 4 locks, the 3 security windows plus labor and supplies will not exceed $8,000. Locks quoted at $4,298. Security windows quoted at $1,970 plus service and supplies quoted at $1,637.50. Stanaway will be adjusting some other maintenance items previously budgeted to get this essential maintenance completed. Moved by Commissioner Plains, supported by Commissioner Pastula, to waive the county bidding policy and have Cornerstone Service and Supply complete the maintenance on 4 electronic locks, 3 security windows plus labor and supplies at a cost not to exceed $8,000. On a voice vote, the motion carried, and I would so move.
Support.
Motion made by Commissioner Cooper, supported by Commissioner Pastula. Is there discussion?
Why is it that we waived the bidding? Are they the ones that installed it originally, or they are?
Yeah, and they've been doing the maintenance on them too, Don.
Okay.
And the other idea is they can come and do the whole job, and the other bidders they solicited couldn't do all of the things.
The Southwest too.
But we sent it out we did RFQ, we did the whole 9 yards, or was it just a bunch of phone calls?
I think it was a bunch of phone calls from what I gathered.
Okay, but I mean, if they're the guys that were doing it, and they're the.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And the other two were out of the Southwest too, Don.
We have a motion before us, and it's been supported. All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
The committee received and reviewed the ambulance and fire protection proposition millage renewal, which was inadvertently not placed on the August election ballot, and was asked to approve the same language for the general election to be held November 4th, 2015. Moved by Commissioner Pastula, supported by Commissioner Kinsella, to approve the agenda, to approve the Chippewa County ambulance and fire protection proposition millage renewal language. Now for the question to be placed on the November ballot. On a voice vote, the motion carried, and I would so move.
Support.
Motion made by Commissioner Cooper, supported by Commissioner Kinsella. Is there discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
Central Dispatch interior painting bid summary approval. The committee received and reviewed the bid summaries for interior painting to be completed at Central Dispatch's interior offices. 4 bids were received and all met specs. Moved by Don McLean, supported by Ted Pastula, to approve the low bid of $2,385 dispatch to be completed by Superior Touch Painting. In a voice vote, the motion carried, and I would so move.
Support.
Motion made and supported to award the bid to Superior Touch Painting. Is there discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
Central Dispatch, request to obtain a credit card. The committee reviewed a memo from OAS Director Tim McKee regarding his need for a county credit card to be maintained at Central Dispatch, to be utilized for hotel reservations and vendors. The county's credit card policy will be followed, and the monthly report will be added to the finance packet, just like the administrator's credit card report. It was moved by Commissioner Kinsella, supported by Commissioner McLean, to approve the request for OAS Director Tim McKee to obtain a county credit card to be specifically used at Central Dispatch for hotel accommodations, travel, and vendors who require credit card payments, and that the county policy be followed, and the monthly report will be included in the finance packet. On the voice vote, the motion carried.
I'll move for its approval.
I'll support.
Motion made by Commissioner Pastula, supported by Commissioner Kinsella. Is there discussion on the motion?
I got
Commissioner Cooper?
a couple questions. Does 50th Circuit Court have a credit card? Do any other departments within the county have their own credit card, other than the sheriff's department?
So the Sheriff's Department,
Just-
Administrator's Office, and the Health Department.
Right. But I mean, this is simply a special revenue to the county, and I don't know why he needs a credit card out there. I mean, it's baffling to me that, you know what I mean? Why, you know, and for all these years, they operated without one. And if they need one, and he's traveling under the county's, business, I mean, it's all county stuff, and so why would he not use the county's credit card? You know what I'm saying? It seems to me that they're.
Well, this would be the county's credit card.
Clearly, but why would, you know, and if it's just for ease, you know, for them, why don't we give everybody a credit card? Or perhaps just a frickin' debit card and let them just access our account. You know what I mean? We don't need a bunch of credit cards flying around out there.
I don't know, I guess it's the new world. I'm the one, I don't like computers, but we're going that way.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
it's not a new world. Credit cards been around forever, and they're, you know, there's nothing but. I mean, I don't know why we would need to do one single department at the county. I mean, people from court travel, people from all the other departments travel, they get rooms, they do all the same things. I mean, we look at our travel report, and people are going all the time, but they're using the counties, I would assume.
But you didn't want us to get that one.
What's that? I know, and I didn't, but it's
You know.
there, and so let's utilize it for county business.
Okay. Let me just chime in here real quick, and then I'll have Administrator German speak. But I understand what you're saying. I think we all are leery, make sure that there is a limited amount of credit cards, that the use of them is only what is completely appropriate, that there's enough oversight and checks and balances to be assured of that. And but I do think that when you have a department that has a reasonable amount of travel, then, instead of calling Kelly and having her make hotel reservations every time they're attending a conference and lining it up, I think they want to be able to do some of that so that so that they can just handle it for the matter of convenience. Or if he needs a simple computer item that simply isn't available locally, that you can go on Amazon and buy that $35 router or cable that you need, and you can't get locally, because there certainly is a limited supply of computer and electronic devices available. So I'm completely with you on being concerned about oversight and making sure that we're limited and that there aren't a bunch of credit cards out there. I think their request, though, is probably reasonable. Administrator German, did you want to add something to that?
I think that pretty much sums it up. I expect in the future, as the motels get more and more difficult to make reservations, and get the tax-free money off, that probably more and more department heads will probably want a credit card. And if we keep those in a report and keep a tight rein on it, it seems like it's inevitable to move into the future that way.
Well, and let me just add before you go, Don, that this board, the county board, and the finance committee being the entire board, will get an exact copy of the credit card statement, as well, along with the administrator's credit card statement, every month to look at, to question, to be sure that every charge is appropriate and proper. But anyway, go ahead. What else
No,
do you
and,
wanna say?
and as far as, the folks out at OES or 911 making the reservations, they could do it, and then, you know, they could have the credit card number out there, or, you know, but anyway, Scott, you know what I feel, and I think it's just overkill, and I think it's kind of like, you got little kids, and one of them gets something, the other one wants one, and so Jim German gets a credit card, so now OES Director McKee wants a credit card, so that's how I see it anyway,
I understand.
yep.
Here's just one question. He's been driving a county pickup for several years. Who's been putting the fuel in for him? Did he have a card for
Sorry.
it, or was he paying for it?
We have charges at various gas stations, right?
He has a gas card.
A gas card.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We trusted him with a card
Animal
before.
Control and Central Dispatch each have a gas card.
All have gas cards? Yeah. Okay. Okay, any further discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
If you're opposed, vote nay.
Nate.
The
Sale-
motion,
Sale of
motion,
used vehicle approval. The
excuse me,
committee reviewed the
excuse me,
notice
Commissioner
receiving
Cooper,
bids.
I didn't quite finish. The, motion passes with one nay, and, now you may
Oh, I'm sorry.
proceed. I just need to declare the motion whether it passed or not passed.
Okay, okay. The committee reviewed the notice of receiving bids for 2 Chevrolet Impalas that are being dispersed from county assets. There's a minimum bid of $400 for each of the vehicles, and the normal process of advertisement will be followed. It's moved by Commissioner McLean, supported by Commissioner Pastula, to approve the sale of 2 Chevy Impalas utilizing the normal bidding and advertising process. On a voice vote, the motion carried, and I would so move.
Support.
Motion made by Commissioner Cooper, supported by Commissioner Pastula. Is there discussion on this motion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
The committee was briefly updated on the fiscal year 13-14 CLM Community Corrections Grant, which expires on September 30th, 2014. The county has already used up A19, that's community placement, and A26, community work group, and D23, intense supervision, funding totaling $66,282.29 of revenue, leaving $1,085.71 to be collected for July services. The special fund collection of other revenue to cover the expenses for the remaining fiscal year. There was no action taken, it was just information. IT bid summary, Sonic Wall NSA 2600 UTM firewall approval. The committee reviewed a memo from Brian Bartlett, reviewing the 2 bids that were received and his request to not go with the low bid, but to stay with DS Tech, who we have an existing working relationship and knowledge of their staffing capabilities. It was moved by George, supported by Ted, to approve the bid from DS Tech Inc. in the amount of $12,969.08 with a 2-year security subscription required per the bidding process. On a voice vote, the motion carried, and I would so move.
Support.
Motion made by Commissioner Cooper, supported by Commissioner Consala. Is there discussion?
Do you remember
Go ahead.
what the difference in the bid thing was? Was it drastic, or was it?
Couple thousand, I think.
It was, yeah, it was a little bit, but I believe the, let's see Brian here, but the company that, was recommended to receive it is one that, has a great deal of experience and current relationship with the department. The other vendor had no experience, and, I believe even their location was a bit further away, isn't that the case? Yeah. So they
Specifically,
really,
they had
really
no-
felt strongly that it was prudent to buy from this vendor.
Thanks. Next time I'll go to the meeting, I won't ask you questions.
You can ask all the questions you want. You might not get the answers you want, but you'll get, but you'll get
Ted
answers.
reminded me I only have 4 left, so.
Okay. That's funny right there. We do have a motion before us. All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
Okay, we'll flip the page. Department rehire Marcia Mitchell, temporary approval. The committee was asked to approve the temporary rehire of Marcia Mitchell to assist the Health Department CFO Christine Lundquist until the determination of how many duties in the general ledger clerk position can be readily absorbed by Christine and or other staff. This position would
Would be for,
be
sure,
for
it's just missing the
48
B.
days per month. Until the next couple of, through the next couple of months until the determination is made. It's moved by George, supported by Ted to approve the rehire of Marcia Mitchell on a temporary basis of 4 to 8 days per month to assist the Health Department CFO Christine Lundquist for the next couple of months until needs determination regarding the general ledger clerk can be made. On a voice vote, the motion carried.
I'll move that.
I'll support it.
Motion made by Commissioner Kinsella, supported by Commissioner Pastula. Is there discussion? Go ahead.
God. This is no surprise, and I said this the last finance meeting, it's no surprise, it's been about a year that we knew Marcia was gonna retire. In fact, Dave Martin said we were not gonna fill that position and save money in the budget. That's what I was told last year when we did the budget for the health department. Okay. Having said that, then, years comes by, Marcia puts in her time. I talked to Marcia about 2 weeks before she retired, and she said, Don, no one even comes in here to find out what I do. Now all of a sudden, we gotta rehire, Marcia to find out what she did and to see how we can disseminate that. And I think it's just poor planning on the health department's part. And it's the way the system works over there. It's like the Hotel California. You can check out, but you can never leave. You got Dave Martin, retiree hire. You got Marcia Mitchell now, retiree hire. You got Nancy Hines, retiree hire. You got Mrs. Bolson, retiree hire. You had Rosemary Blashaw. The list goes on. And instead of them planning ahead and doing it, and they're losing money over there. And their strategy, I think, is to just keep spending and instead of becoming efficient and looking ways to cut, we'll just ask the county for more money. And you're gonna see them in a couple months coming up and ask us for more money, and we'll probably give it to them. But I think it's just wrong. I think they should have had this all planned out prior to her retirement. And again, but that's the way they operate over there, and it's wrong. And you see them coming every year, asking us for more and more money, asking the county board for more and more appropriations. They always have an excuse or a reason. But you know what? If you can cut admin, if you can cut some of that, and you can save some money, and we would have to make less of a contribution from the county level. Although we have the obligation to have the health department.
Okay, anyone else? Okay, well, I think you make a good point. This is a temporary hire at part-time, and hopefully they can do the planning they need to make here in the next several weeks. Is there a motion before us then? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay.
Nay.
Motion carries with 1 nay.
Committee reviewed an out-of-state travel request for a hospice nurse to attend the NHPCO, whatever that is, 15th Clinical Team Conference, with the health department being responsible for the nurse's time and flight costs only to attend the conference in Nashville, Tennessee. It was moved by George, supported by Ted, to approve the out-of-state travel for nurse Christy Curtis to travel to Nashville, Tennessee to attend the National Hospice and Palliative Care Organization Conference at the cost of $350 for her flight and her wages. On a voice vote, the motion carried, and I would so move.
Support.
Motion made by Commissioner Cooper, supported by Commissioner Pastula. Is there discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
Animal Control Grant Award for $30,000. Approval. The committee reviewed the notice of receiving grant monies from an anonymous foundation in the amount of $30,000 for the purchase of new cat kennels from Direct Animal Products, consisting of 14 triple stack units, 7 center units, and litter boxes for the condos. Total cost of the cat kennels is $50,836.25. The balance of the kennels to be paid out of the donation fund. That's Fund 285. It was moved by Commissioner McLean, supported by Commissioner Pastula, to approve and accept the $30,000 reimbursement grant application as received from the anonymous foundation, and to proceed with the new cat kennels from Direct Animal Products at a cost of $50,836.25, with the balance of the project to be paid from Fund 285. Animal shelter donations. On the voice vote, the motion carried, and I would so move.
Support.
Motion made by Commissioner Cooper, supported by Commissioner Kinsella. Is there discussion?
Just got a quick question for Kelly. We have that grant document. We know how to comply with that. We're good with that. So, okay, thank you.
All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
We received and reviewed the contract between the county and the city of Sault Ste. Marie for supplemental animal control services, which expires at the end of this year. The renewal contract change includes the date and an increase of the hourly rate from $15 per hour plus fringes to $15.50 per hour plus fringes. With the new expiration date of December 31st, 2016. It was moved by George, supported by Don McLean, to approve the renewal contract with the city of Sault Ste. Marie for the supplemental animal control services with the hourly increase of 50 cents per hour plus fringes, and to forward to the city of Sault Ste. Marie for their approval and signature. On the voice vote, the motion carried, and I would so move.
Support.
Motion made by Commissioner Cooper, supported by Commissioner Pastula, that the contract with the city be approved. Is there discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
If you're opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
Committee reviewed the information received on the establishment of a commercial rehabilitation district located at 510 East Spruce Street, to be known as Garfield Commons. Owner Elizabeth Corbier. The commission has three options regarding the establishment of a commercial rehabilitation district, which will freeze the property taxes for 5 years. A resolution of support is included in the agenda for the board's regular meeting tonight, or this afternoon. It was moved by Don McLean, supported by Ted Pastula, to support resolution for the commercial rehabilitation district to Elizabeth Corbier, Garfield Commons, located at 510 Ashland Street. We're not gonna vote on that because we're going to take it up later.
Okay.
That resolution. We got a resolution, the committee was updated on the sale of 300 Court Street, and necessary to pass resolution 1415, which we will do later. Authorizes Scott or Jim German to sign the sales document on behalf of the county at closing, which will be completed Tuesday, August 12th. The resolution is required by the title company to complete the closing. Again, we're gonna take that up later. Employee benefits, short-term, long-term disability renewal. The committee was updated on the quote sought and received by employee benefits on behalf of the county for the short-term, long-term life insurance and voluntary life insurance. Current carrier Lincoln Financial's renewal increased, and a quote from Standard Insurance Company will be a cost savings of approximately $3,500 per year, with a 2-year guarantee. It was moved by Don McLean, supported by George Gazella, to approve the change of coverage for short-term, long-term, and life insurance to the Standard Insurance Company based on the quotes received by employee benefits with a 2-year rate guarantee, saving approximately $3,500 per year. On the voice vote, the motion carried, and I would so move.
Support.
Motion made by Commissioner Cooper, supported by Commissioner Pastula. Is there discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
Committee received a request from Edward Jones, financial advisor Brent Osterhout, to have their 457 deferred comp plan approved by the counties for an employee to utilize. This plan is at no cost to the county, as it is the employee's money only being invested. It was moved by Commissioner Pastula, supported by Commissioner McLean, to approve the plan documents for Edward Jones 457 deferred comp plan administered through Brent Osterhout, at no cost to the county. On the voice vote, the motion carried. And I would so move.
I'll support.
Motion made by Commissioner Cooper, supported by Commissioner Kinsella. Is there discussion? Commissioner Cooper.
We have all the documents for that, Kelly? We gotta do a bunch of resolutions now, right?
No, the plan document, everything, this will take care of it.
This will take care of it. How many options do we have now out there?
I believe this is the 7th or the 8th.
Shouldn't we put a limit, isn't this kind of a pain in the,
We have to send it through here, sign the documents, and I set up a vendor.
and then we just cut a check every payday?
It's automatic, it goes right into the
Okay.
maintenance, so
Okay.
it's not that big.
I know we've been adding these left and right, and I just wondered how many we have and why we would do so many, but, okay.
Yeah. The employees ask, and we've just never told them no, and the system will take, unlimited numbers. So.
Right. As long as it's not, I mean, once you set up the vendor and
Yeah,
stuff,
once
and
this
it's
is
automatic.
done and the maintenance is done, it takes care of itself.
Okay, thank you.
Any further discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
The committee held a brief discussion on the proposed needs of the courthouse, then agreed the list needs to go back to buildings and grounds for additional review, and Kelly, you're gonna send Scott that request. Administrative courthouse building closure, the committee was updated on the planned security training that will be held October 16th from noon until 4, which will necessitate the closure of the offices to complete the lockdown training. It was moved by Don McLean, supported by George Costello, to approve the October 16th closure, I guess, from noon until 4 for the courthouse building, so that staff can attend security training. Voice vote, the motion carried, and I would so move.
Support.
Motion made by Commissioner Cooper, supported by Commissioner Pastula. Is there discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
Committee was updated on a $2,500 grant received from Walmart to help purchase office supplies and equipment to be used for the Trident program. So moved by Commissioner Kinsella, supported by Commissioner Pastula to accept the $2,500 Walmart grant with proceeds to be used to purchase office supplies and equipment for Trident. Voice vote, the motion carried, and I would so move.
Support.
Motion made by Commissioner Cooper, supported by Commissioner Pastula. Is there discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
Committee reviewed the bills and payroll presented for approval. It was moved by Commissioner Kinsella, supported by Commissioner Pastula, to recommend the approval of the general fund claims totaling $270,970.84. Other fund claims of $441,679.01. Payroll of $444,760.30. And Health Department claims of $496,365.89. Total claims of $1,653,776.04. Vouchers H1 through H292. On a voice vote, the motion carried, and I would so move.
Support.
Motion made by Commissioner Cooper, supported by Commissioner Kinsella. Is there discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
Committee Chairman's comment, no additional comments were offered, but then the meeting was adjourned at 4:40. But I'd just like to mention here briefly that and you guys got copies of the actuarial for the OPEB trust fund, and they're working through some numbers, and we want to make some decisions before we start the budget process. And we talked about putting a factor on the payroll to fund the OPEB, the ongoing funding of it. So Kelly and Chuck and Christine over at the Health Department are putting some stuff together, and we'll probably be talking to you guys about that shortly. Okay, then this, as far as this committee, the meeting was adjourned at 4:49, move for the approvals of minutes.
Support.
Motion made by Commissioner Cooper, supported by Commissioner Pastula, that the minutes of Finance, Claims, and Accounts Committee, August 7th, 2014, be approved. Is there discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries. We move to new business. We have two resolutions. The first one is 1415, resolution to sell 300 Court Street. That's also known as the Annex Building. And I think that is on page 30 of our packet. There it is. I think we've formally accepted the purchase offer. And again, this is a resolution that the financing and financing
I'll move for the title 14.
title, thank you, title company are looking for.
I'll support it.
Motion made by Commissioner Cooper, supported by Commissioner Pastula. Is there discussion? Clerk, please take a roll call vote.
Commissioner Cooper?
Yes.
Commissioner Kinsella?
Yes.
Commissioner Pastula?
Yes.
And Chairman Shackleton?
Yes. Resolution 1415 is approved. Resolution 1416 is supporting Commercial Rehabilitation District, 510 East Spruce Street. That is also known as the Old Garfield School, page 32. And we need to go through the same process.
I'll move for the approval of 1416.
I'll support that.
Motion made by Commissioner Cooper, supported by Commissioner Kinsella. Would the clerk please take a roll call vote on that resolution?
Commissioner Cooper?
Yes.
Commissioner Kinsella?
Yes.
Commissioner Pastula?
Yes.
And Chairman Shackleton?
Yes, and resolution 1416 is approved as well. Commissioner comments is the last order of business. Item 12, any commissioner have a comment you feel compelled to share? Seeing none, I'd entertain a motion for adjournment.
Move we adjourn.
Support.
Motion from Commissioner Kinsella, supported by Commissioner Pastula, that we adjourn. Any discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. This meeting is adjourned. Well, we had to do that for Scott.
I know, I know it was me now, I'm sorry.
You're gonna stop.